Hey there, everyone. I'm the Crap Gamer with you as always, and this is another crappy review where the games aren't always crappy, but the reviews usually are. Today, we're going to do a retro review. I know I took a little hiatus from reviews while I covered E3, and now I'm kind of getting back into the groove with this review. And I like the retro reviews, and so we're going to do one just to get kind of back in there. Now, today we're going to take a look at Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the original Xbox. I know what you're thinking. Yes, he's really reviewing Buffy the Vampire Slayer? And the answer is yes. Yes, I am. The funny thing is that I've been a fan of Buffy and the spin-off Angel series since they originally aired years ago. I'm a huge Joss Whedon fan as well. I was absolutely blown away by his creativity and writing way back in the 90s. I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer came out in 1997, and I was hooked immediately as I think I was a teenager and I was just really into it. So it's no surprise that him writing and directing The Avengers has led to worldwide box office records, and now everyone seems to be a Joss Whedon fan. Funny how that works, but I digress. Now this is the first console Buffy game, and it was an Xbox exclusive. It was originally going to be a PlayStation game, then it got moved over to Dreamcast, and then when Dreamcast went kaput, it got moved over to Xbox. Now it does indeed work in the current Xbox 360 as well, so if you were wondering if you come across the game and don't own an original Xbox but you have a 360, and you are wondering if the game will work in a 360, it definitely does. Just in case you were a fan of the series, and you'll definitely enjoy this game. The game itself takes place in the third season of the show. Now the main plot of the game sees the Master, who was the big bad from the original first season, well, he's back in spirit form and he's looking for a body to inhabit. So the core gameplay is a typical beat 'em up style. You do kicks and punches, and you actually have a variety of weapons you can get, like stakes and crossbows. Now the stakes will wear out after a while, so you have to continuously break wooden objects and collect more. You can hold a few at a time, so it's not that you know dire of a situation if they break. You usually have more saved up. So you can also use holy water as well. And a cool thing about this is the voice cast is made up almost entirely of people from the series. All the minor and major characters are voiced by the actors and actresses that played them in this show, with the slight exception of Sarah Michelle Gellar. She skipped out on doing her own voice work. Luckily, the lady who did her voice got the mannerisms down perfectly, and you won't even notice. In fact, if you've ever watched a pilot to the Buffy the Vampire Slayer cartoon, it actually was never aired, but you can find it on YouTube. Now the lady that played Buffy there is the same one here. Trust me when I say you won't even notice. She does a really great job with it. Sounds just like her. Now there are 13 different levels to play through in this game, and most will look rather familiar if you're a fan of the show. In between levels, you're taken back to the Sunnydale High School library, where you learn what you have to do next, and you can also get weapons from Xander, or you can get Giles to teach you some new moves, or Willow will help you get more life and Slayer power. So the game plays out very much like a true episode of the show, and going back to the library is a very interesting point, and it reminded me a lot of the show, and it was one of the reasons that I really liked it, because on the show, whenever they were stumped or whatever, they'd go to the library, and she trained there, and especially in the earlier seasons, so they do a good job of making this game seem like a actual episode from the series. Now, one of the only complaints that I do have of this game, it's the repetitive enemies. Pretty much, you'll see a lot of the same exact enemy on the screen at different times, and they all pretty much repeat the same phrases over and over and over again. Other than that, this is a solid game, and it has lots of action, and it's very, very well written, and it has an interesting plot. So many games today feel so poorly conceived that this game is just a breath of fresh air. And honestly, it's one of the better written games even that you'll see today. Now, we see a lot of games dealing with zombies, ghosts, and vampires, but Buffy is probably my favorite and definitely the most original. Now, there isn't much else to say about the game other than it's it's a nicely interactive episode of the series. And if you're into the series, I highly recommend it. It's very well done, and it's a lot of fun. Not much else you can say. I'd also like to point out that there is actually some unlockables in the game, so be on the lookout for those. I'll kind of keep those as secret. Sometimes it's fun to just go and play a game and unlock some stuff. And also, in case you were wondering, there was actually a sequel to the game called Chaos Bleeds, and in that game you could actually play as a number of different characters throughout the game, and hopefully one day I'll be able to review that as well. But I'm going to give this version, or this game, Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the original Xbox, a 4.5 out of 5. Definitely pick it up if you see it. Thanks for checking out my review. Crap Gamer, out.